I've dedicated my life to exploring the unknown. I've been places no one else has ever gone. I've seen life no human eye has ever seen. It's my passion. I found the Titanic. I survived crushing depths and a rogue wave. But even after 50 years at sea, I'm as fascinated with the deep as I was on my very first expedition. You want to know my most important discovery? Well, it's the one I'm about to make. I'm Dr. Robert Ballard. Come with me into the alien deep.
Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, you got terrain 40 meters on either side.
Dr. Robert Ballard is venturing into a world few people get to see. To an active undersea volcano where new land and ocean are being born.
People want me to tell you, well, what are you going to find? Or whatever. Well, that's just not good enough. What do you mean that's not good enough? Well, you don't know what you're going to find? If I did, I wouldn't be going.
What Ballard does know is that he's about to enter one of the most lethal places on Earth.
If I have a problem in my submarine, and if it fails, it goes off like a bomb.
It's not just sub-failures Ballard has to worry about. His quest will take him down into the crushing abyss, to the explosive volcanic source of Hawaii's next island. The volcano Ballard is seeking lies deep in the Pacific, but he begins his journey far above, on the shoulders of its older sister.
Wow, here we are, top of the world. This is it. You're standing on the tallest mountain on Earth. It's not Mount Everest, it's Mauna Kea on the island of Hawaii.
Mauna Kea rose up out of the ocean to form the highest peak on Hawaii's Big Island. It stands 4,000 feet taller than Everest. Loihi, the new volcano that will one day form the next Hawaiian island, lies at its feet.
The base of the mountain is down there, over 19,000 feet beneath the sea. Rising up above sea level to where I'm standing right now, another 14,000 feet, for a total distance of 33,000 feet. And our journey begins here, and it ends there. What I'm standing on is a huge active volcano, but its base is deep beneath the sea, so that's where I want to go.
As Ballard explores the summit, his dive team on Oahu is preparing for the dangerous underwater part of the mission.
Off the lift line, on tow.
Roger, off the lift, on tow.
Swimmers away, clear to dive.
Roger, stand off tow, swimmers away, clear to dive, we're diving now.
This year, the sub's first dive has 3 goals. Pressure test the hulls to 1,000 feet. Assess the sonar navigation systems by relocating the wreck of a World War II Japanese midget sub. And practice the delicate maneuvering and communications required on a 2-sub dive.
Clear to dive.
Roger, stand off tow, swimmers away, clear to dive, Pisces 5 is standing by.
This midget sub led the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941. The two-man vessel was sunk by a single gunshot from the USS Ward an hour before the main air attack began. The strike by the Ward was only confirmed in 2002, when this same Pisces team discovered the wreck. The shell hole can still be seen just below the conning tower. This fatal shot was the first fired by an American in the Second World War. A stark reminder of just how devastating even the smallest puncture can be. Still safely at the top of Mauna Kea, Ballard won't be facing enemy fire on his dives, but he will have other, more deadly dangers to contend with. He's dropping into a cauldron of fire to witness the volcanic processes that shaped Hawaii.
We're standing on a hot spot. Some people call them the thunderheads of the mantle. There's storms inside the Earth, and the plates, the great crustal plates of the planet, are moving over the top of those storms. And they literally, like a welder's torch, burn their way up through the plate and make an island.
The hot spot created the Hawaiian Islands one by one as the Earth's surface slowly rotated over it. The activity is relentless.
Just as we arrived on the Big Island, a crater to the south of Mauna Kea erupted. At night, it lit up the entire sky. But you know, the same thing's happening underwater, but it's making a new island.
That future island is Loihi. It's just as active, and that's where Ballard is heading. He'll venture from the summit of Mauna Kea to the ocean, meet his dive team, then plunge into the flooded heart of a living volcano. By starting his journey to the undersea crater of Loihi at the top of Mauna Kea, Dr. Robert Ballard gets a chance to witness how volcanic islands evolve.
Well, of course, the first part's easy. I'm driving down 14,000 feet to sea level, but because I'm an oceanographer and a geologist, I'm looking for signs of the ocean's presence. But up here, well, there's virtually nothing. It's like going to Mars. Even the ocean can't terraform this terrain. There's nothing but rocks. As we go down, though, we'll pick up more moisture, the temperature will rise, and you'll see a complete series of transitional habitats.
As Ballard heads down the mountain, his dive teams return to the surface after their first successful test dive.
Pisces 4, chase boat, lift your basket. Roger, basket coming up.
Next, they'll transit over to the Big Island for test dive number 2. A deeper dive on the underwater slopes of Mauna Kea herself.
Roger, Pisces 4, secure on deck.
So suddenly we've arrived in Africa. I'm almost looking for a wildebeest. Look at the grassland all around now. Hawaii has a tremendous number of ecosystems, both above the ocean and below the ocean. If you really want to see a maximum array of habitats, this is the place to come. It's almost like a mini planet. And as we go further down the hill, we're going to pass into the clouds. what really sets our planet apart. 72% of it is covered by the sea, and that moist water is what feeds the diversity of life on our planet. Were it not for the ocean, we'd look like Mars.
Far down the same mountain, Bob's dive teams are about to explore Mauna Kea's underwater landscape. Their second test dive will be to coral beds at 2,000 feet. Most life in Hawaii, above or below water, flourishes near the ocean's surface. Away from sea level, the terrain becomes more barren. Yet even here in the near darkness, there is life. The subs move in on a garden of gold corals. These are some of the longest living creatures on Earth. Many almost 5,000 years old. The pressure here is 70 times that of land. For the Pisces subs, that's like having 70 more subs stacked on top of them. Even a Navy nuclear attack sub would likely crumple at these depths. But the hulls hold, and the pilots can check off another important safety dive. That'll be the last one before they bring Ballard down to 3,000 feet and into the Loihi volcano. Despite their immense power, the geologist in Ballard loves volcanoes and the primeval way they destroy and create.
In Hawaii, the roads come and they go. Oh, it's beautiful over here. The Hawaiian Islands were created by the movement of the Pacific Plate over the hot spot. It popped out islands, and the Hawaiian story, their ancient story, told the same story. Pretty cool.
The Hawaiian creation myth is born of fire, lightning, volcanoes, and ocean. And it bonds the native Hawaiians to the sea. Even their surfing has mythical underpinnings. It's more than a sport to people like surfer and traditional board shaper Tom Pohaku Stone.
Everybody misses the true origins and essence of surfing today. Surfing was a really important part of our cultural way of life. The reason is because we stayed in tune with the ocean. We developed ourselves physically and spiritually to connect with the ocean.
The ancient Hawaiian rituals also connected them with the land. In his study of native Hawaiian history, Tom discovered that his people actually rode the volcanoes, body surfing over steep lava slides carved into the mountains.
It's just another wave to ride. We recreate that sense of molten lava flowing. And we get on top of it and we ride it. We're paying honor to Pele, our goddess of the volcanoes. So we ride, that lava to the ocean, and we understand that the ocean is giving way to the growth of the land. We understood that islands were actually always being created along this arc. We're just on a canoe. The land is nothing but a canoe that we ride.
The next emerging canoe, Loihi, is still bubbling and simmering under the waves. For Ballard, that's a risky but irresistible opportunity to witness the volcanic birth of new land from deep ocean. With all the testing complete, Ballard's dive teams make their final transit from the foot of Mauna Kea to the submersible deployment point above Loihi.
Okay, here goes the monster cam.
Roger, ready for sonar tilt. Push all the way down, release it with the pivot.
Loihi lies south of Mauna Kea and is growing as we speak. Ballard's eager to get down there. To him, 3,000 feet of darkness, bone-crushing pressure, and seismic uncertainty are risks worth taking. He's surprised how few others share his enthusiasm.
For me, the idea of getting down there is just pure excitement. But what baffles me is why we as a race are so reluctant to explore our own planet. We've been taught that salvation lies in the heavens, and that when we die, we're going to go to heaven. And that down is evil, it's the devil. And I think people are fundamentally afraid of the deep ocean. It's dark, it's foreboding, it is an alien deep.
Even those who aren't afraid find it difficult to go down. Some, like Hawaiian spearfisher Kimi Werner, have learned to conquer the ocean for brief periods. Kimi can hold her breath for almost 5 minutes as she stalks her prey. She can't use scuba because the bubbles scare away the fish. Kimi lies still in the water, fighting her body's impulse to breathe until the fish come within reach.
Well, this is really a modern version of hunter-gathering. Their only technology is a mask, a snorkel, fins, and a spear gun. They're hunting wild animals in the upper layers of the ocean, something that humans have been doing ever since they could hold their breath and have a sharp stick. Ah, we were successful. We'll be eating tonight, huh?
Scuba can get us further for longer, but it too has its limitations. We can get to depths of 250 feet and more with special gas mixes and high-tech equipment. But dive times get shorter the deeper you go, which is why most of Mauna Kea's underwater slopes are still unexplored.
If we truly want to explore the oceans, and I say we have to, we need to approach it like the Hawaiians. They're so totally connected to the sea.
People have so removed themselves from our natural environment, but as native peoples, we're still very much connected to that natural environment. We rely on the rhythms of the planet itself. I mean, how can you disconnect? There's no separation between heaven and earth, heaven and the seas, and land and the seas. We're all one spirit connected. It's amazing.
The native people sailed to Hawaii at least 1,000 years ago. They made an open ocean journey of 2,500 miles from as far away as Tahiti. In terms of human achievement, that's a feat comparable to the moon landing. The ancients were master navigators, sailors who survived in the open ocean by reading the stars and constantly observing the changing patterns of wind, sea creatures, and weather.
We utilize the ocean to move us, and we utilize that energy of the ocean to go places. We always remember the highway of the sea. We knew the motion of the water, we knew the motion of the currents, everything, whether we're leaving the island, going between islands, or we're going to go thousands of miles away. It didn't matter, because the ocean's all one and the same, because we're part of it and we're one and the same.
That incredible connection to the water allowed the first people of Hawaii to make mighty voyages across the ocean. Ballard thinks we need the same perspective as we descend into the depths. And that descent is finally ready to happen. With all the safety checks completed, it's time to take the subs 3,000 feet down into the mouth of Luihi. Ballard is about to make a rare and perilous voyage into the heart of our unknown planet. For Dr. Robert Ballard, the final descent begins with a 4-hour rock and roll boat ride. He's heading to the Expedition Command Center, the KOK. More than a half-mile beneath her bow lurks the volcanic summit of Luihi. Ballard's plan is to make the first ever two-sub dive right into Luihi's most active crater. It's an area tormented by earthquakes, landslides, and eruptions. At last, it's game time.
How's it going? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. How are you?
Ready to do some geology?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Good. You've done two sub operations, but not in this type.
Right. We've done lots of dives in the pit, the single sub,
Right.
and we've done lots of two-sub dives, but we've never taken two subs into the pit in this really tight,
Yeah.
unstable terrain. So it's going to be a little challenging
Yeah,
today.
well, we'll keep our eyes on the sonar.
Yeah.
The team's main target is Pele's Pit, a 2,000-foot wide crater on Luihi's peak. It formed in 1996 after the biggest swarm of earthquakes ever recorded in Hawaii. Luihi grows in fits and starts and was hit by over 100 earthquakes as recently as 2005. Ballard hopes to scour the pit for vent sites, areas where hot, nutrient-rich water rises from magma-filled chambers. A veteran of more than 100 dives, Ballard knows all the risks: volcanic activity, sub-failures, falling rocks. He's lived through them all.
That's also. I remember we were sampling on a wall, trying to pull a rock out, and then we realized that it was the little rock holding the big rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the dive briefing, it's straight to breakfast, but no liquids.
Each night, hours before I make a dive, I stop drinking. I dehydrate my body because I'm going to be living inside a cold 7-foot sphere that doesn't have a bathroom.
Tracking range 200 meters.
Tracking service, roger, range 200 meters.
There's always a level of risk anytime a human being gets in a submersible and goes anywhere. But then you add the added risk of 2-vehicle operation, that adds another level of risk. Then you go inside an active volcano that's been collapsing, another level of risk. Where there's hot hydrothermal vents, another level of risk.
Pisces 5, this surface, you are off tow, swimmers away.
Roger, coming up.
There we go. Now they're gonna let us go and we're gonna flood our tank.
Ironically, the most unpleasant part of the dive is the first few feet.
And when you first get in, it's hot, and this is where you're gonna rock and roll the most, so.
Pisces 4, tracking your calls.
You wanna get through your pre-dive and dive as fast as possible. Off to the office.
Well, if we're doing a drop on Loihi to about a mile, it takes about an hour to get down, a little over an hour. And we have descent weights that weight the sub, so we descend on our own weight.
You can't power down. You use up all your energy, so you free fall.
Okay, Pisces 4 is passing, 100 meters, over. Frank, you're about 230 meters west of the dive position. Request your motor east for 4 minutes, over.
So you feel the hull. It's not cold yet.
Roger, east, 4 minutes.
Then it'll start to sweat. I can remember with novice who would sweat up by the hatch and they would think the hatch was leaking. Now we enter the world of eternal darkness. Now we enter the world where most of our planet is located. A place I've gotten to know.
There's little to do but try to get comfortable as the sub drifts down into one of the most hostile places on planet Earth. Over 3,000 feet down in the darkness of the abyss, Dr. Robert Ballard finally sets eyes on the barren outer flanks of Loihi.
Eagle has landed. Roger that.
Okay, Pisces 4 is on the bottom, depth 114.
The slopes are covered in pillow lava, which oozes out of the earth like toothpaste. Outside, the pressure is 100 times that of land. All systems seem to be functioning, and the twin subs begin their coordinated maneuvers.
When you have two subs in the water at the same time, it's critical to know where they are at all times. Your visibility is limited, and the last thing you want to have happen is to run into one another.
If we ever got out of view of each other and one sub was back and we couldn't see each other, there is a danger that we could connect and become entangled, or that one sub could damage the other one's thrusters or some components.
Once in formation, the two subs creep up the slope toward the crater mouth. Ridges provide a highway to the summit.
Is it dangerous? Yes. Anytime you dive in a deep submersible, it's dangerous, particularly when two subs are working close to one another, and even more so when they're working in tight quarters inside an active volcano.
There's a tight 90-yard gap through which the subs can drop into the crater. But if they even brush the rubble-strewn sides, they could start an avalanche.
And just a thruster blast hitting can start a landslide. And we've had that go where it just starts this landslide and a big silt cloud's up here, and you hear it just going and going and going like a river.
Suddenly, Pisces 4 loses sonar contact with the walls.
We've lost all terrain. So we're
Then, the two subs lose visual contact with each other.
And the lead sub is trying to gauge the distance from the walls to try and shoot the gap between the gateway. And the second sub loses contact, then it would be really hard for us to reestablish contact.
Moments like this are always tense. You can't see him, he can't see you. You look at your sonar, and he's just a few feet away.
And that's exactly what happens. By sheer luck, Pisces 5 suddenly reappears.
and he's in front of us, so he's running the gauntlet. He's running the gauntlet. We're just following. He's trailblazing. He's doing all the work.
Crisis averted. The subs finally get a view of the crater's edge. It's strewn with broken boulders, evidence of recent violent eruptions.
Yeah, I look at this and I imagine what would it be like if this volcano suddenly begins to erupt, and it's happened before.
So we'll be out, we're dropping in. We're going over the edge of the crater. We're dropping down.
Even with their sonar, this is stumbling in the darkness. The water is clear, but their visibility is limited by the range of the lights. Once the tight entrance is behind them, the subs aim for the steep opposite wall, where Ballard hopes to find the active hydrothermal vents.
Clear all around us. We're in La La Land now. Sonar clean. Starting to get nippy.
As the subs inch across the open crater, there's just time to grab some food.
Even a squash peanut butter and jelly sandwich tastes good. M&M's.
But all too soon, the opposite side of the crater looms, dead ahead.
There's a big wall, there it is. Just came screaming in.
Whoa, you might want to back up. We're inching along this vertical wall looking for hot water coming out of the volcano, and just under these lava flows is molten magma that's 1,200 degrees centigrade.
The subs are right up against the unstable rock.
Here, we're washing it, we're cleaning it. We're writing our name.
As the subs hug the contours of the wall, a large overhanging rock blocks their path.
Looks like this is a big spire right in front of us.
This is the kind of teetering rock the crews have been worried about.
Well, I think my biggest fear in the pit is having one of those large boulders roll over onto the sub and pin the sub on the bottom, and being stuck inside with this weight coming down with no way that the second sub could do anything about it.
The subs head up, away from the rock.
Yeah, you can pull away a little bit from it and then pivot to the right, correct.
Their new route takes them to a sharp cliff of fragmented frozen lava. Ballard, ever the geologist, is impressed.
Okay. That's cool. That is pretty cool.
Just above the wall, the landscape suddenly changes. Ballard the hunter starts to sniff his prey.
Next, I'm just flew above you on your port side. I'm gonna move around behind you. Over.
I thought I saw shimmering water.
The rocks are covered in orange bacteria, and swirling plumes are a smoking gun.
Oh, wait, you see that one right in front of you?
Yeah, I do see that one in front of you.
Yeah, that looks like shimmering water's coming out of there.
Shimmering water means hot water. Just under the crust, it's being heated by red-hot magma. Ballard is witnessing both the birth of new land and the volcano recharging the ocean from below with vital, nutrient-rich water. It's seawater that has seeped down through the ocean floor, been superheated and infused with salts, minerals, and metals in the volcano's magma chamber, then pumped back up through the vents.
You know, these hot vents are why the ocean has the chemistry it has. Imagine all the water in the world's ocean.
Revealing the hidden processes that keep our planet so vital. But he still has one last unusual assignment before the expedition can close out. It's sunset on the KOK. Subs are stowed, teams resting. But their work is not quite done. They're heading south to Luihi's deepest point. Ballard's seen the volcano's geology. He's now after the life that inhabits it. But it's further down than even the Pisces subs can go.
Isn't it amazing? People are flying around every day at 19,000 feet, and only a handful of people have ever been to that depth beneath the sea.
Ballard can't get to the bottom of Luihi himself, but he does have a probe that can. A specially designed National Geographic Deep Cam with two bright sun spheres that can survive at any depth. The Deep Cam will be dropping into an utterly unseen world.
But unlike the moon, it's alive.
On the surface, there's nothing to do but wait while the Deep Cam dives. Waiting is not something Ballard enjoys, though he's gotten better at it during his many years at sea.
It's the only place I have patience. I don't have it on land. But here I know I can't arm wrestle it to the ground.
Try to free that line from the mirrors if you can.
When the probe finally returns, it brings with it the first fantastic images from this dark, mysterious world.
There we go. There's a number of...
It takes a few hours before the strange creatures of the deep begin to sniff out the bait that's attached to the camera.
Never seen that guy. That's cool.
This is a cusk eel, a creature rarely seen on video. Today is the first time one has been filmed seeking food. Its eyes are of no use, but it likely relies on its huge nostrils to guide it to food that has fallen from the surface. Joining it are 2 shrimp and a cutthroat eel, the ultimate alien scavenger.
There, you can see this animal twisting about, trying to rip off a chunk of the bait. And when it does so, of course, it kicks up all these little crustaceans called amphipods. There's clouds of these things in the water.
They were feeding on it.
Yeah.
Then, something large looms into view.
Now, here comes some good size.
Yeah.
Now, give me the
Look at
dimension.
this. I mean,
that.
this.
What's this?
Oh, that's about.
It's a shark, and a rare one. Over 8 feet long, it's known as a false cat shark. When it's not coming in for a free lunch, it hovers near the bottom of the abyss, feeding on eels and other fish. It's the top predator here, in a huge world of thinly spread food resources.
I mean, these are the, creatures that seldom get seen because you don't have the time to sit and wait. Total darkness is a constant, near freezing temperatures, and you get the same habitat. So this is probably the biggest habitat, benthic habitat on the planet,
Right.
is the one we're looking at.
It's a huge reservoir of life, of biomass on the planet.
It definitely demonstrates you don't want to be buried at sea. That's for sure. What really intrigues me is that at the top of Mauna Kea, there's nothing but rocks. And down here, it also looks barren, but even in this dark alien world, there's way more life.
Ballard's epic journey to Loihi has cast a tiny light on the fundamental relationship between volcanoes and oceans that makes life on Earth possible. But it's still just a fleeting glimpse into a vast, unknown habitat that we have yet to truly explore.
This is the deep as we need to know it in the future. We need to be as familiar with the Mauna Keas that lie beneath the sea as we are with the Everests on land. It's critically important that we understand the processes going on inside the deep ocean if we ever hope to manage, conserve, and at times use its resources. Everything that makes us human, makes daily life possible on this planet, is linked to the alien deep.
For Ballard, this is the next frontier, a magical, resource-rich world just waiting to be unveiled.